Hi everyone, this is Juliet here from Healing Waters Sanctuary here in Glastonbury, and it's been such a rainy day, such a mixture of rain and sunshine and all sorts of lovely things. And I guess I've been in the office most of the day on my laptop and rushed out at different times and done some seed transplants, seed sowing and potting and so on. And I scheduled this live stream tonight to do a call, especially with my wise woman friend, Brigitte Antelme. And I don't know where she's gone. For some reason, she's not turned up here. So fingers crossed that she appears at some point soon. And I don't have Marion with me to check whether it's all working. But I have invited Jack along, great, solid, loyal support person. Thank you, Jack. So I'm going to invite Jack on in a moment, but I'm just wondering whether you are able to see me, because Facebook very kindly put me in jail last night for posting something about the European figures for adverse events. So that was the European government website, the UDRA, not actually the government, but it's the site where they report adverse events as a result of the injection. And I posted the figures for that, and Facebook very kindly put me in jail for saying that it was against their social standards. So I guess we're not really allowed to post anything like that. So I'm just checking to see if I'm live, because without Marion, I'm not quite sure how any of that is going to be working. She's the one that usually does this. So yeah, I don't even quite know how to do it. So I've got a big learning curve here. So let me see. So I don't know. Oh yes. So, okay. Yes, I am live on Twitter. That's wonderful. So let me see if I am live on YouTube. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube. Fantastic. Yay. Okay. So, but can you hear me? This is the other question. So let me just see whether you can hear me. So, and Brigitte's here. Wonderful, Brigitte. So fantastic. So I'm going to bring Brigitte on, and we have Jack on, who's so kindly volunteered. So we will invite him on to say something. So let me just, Brigitte, hi.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Hi. Okay, so I just have to change my technology. Just a moment. Jack, can you thumbs us up if you can hear us?
Well, we're not saying anything.
I've said loads, but oh yay, you're here! I can't begin to tell you the amount of panic that I experienced for the last 10 minutes. Like, where's Brigitte? Where's Brigitte?
Well, it's exactly 3 minutes past 5 my time, so I'm 3 minutes late. But maybe you started a bit earlier.
Well, I wanted, it's because there's quite a lot of preparation just for you to...
Oh, yes, but I wasn't here, and I was in a huge discussion because my friends have just sold their chateau, and one of the brothers was in a huge, you know, when you sell a property that's been in a family for centuries, and you feel that you haven't had the love or the connection, or maybe your needs met, then you project that onto what am I going to get now? So one of the people there who I know who helped me with the barn is a real Taurian man. So there is a lot of fear, and the tension in the room was quite palpable. I went because it's his birthday today, and I bought some cakes. Usually I would make them. And I could feel, it was just the tension was palpable. And suddenly I realized it was 5:45, and I thought, my God, I've got to go. I've got a meeting. So I just made it in time to be with you all.
As they do in France.
Yeah, and no. And anyway, so of course, who wants what? And the money is staying with the solicitor, who is then going to be able to pay different shares because they are individed. And you know all about that, Juliet, because you've been there with your land.
Been through that, yes. So
when you are in division, meanings if there is 5 of you, you have to buy the share of the others. And if the others don't want you to buy your shares, and then it becomes extremely complicated because it means you get frozen. And we know all about freeze, fight, or flight. So I've just experienced just a little bit of that just now. And not at all a birthday celebration, but more a contraction around, an exhaustion.
Absolutely. So just let's take a pause for a second, because I just want to say thank you. We have, as I'm doing this, Brigitte, it's like usually Marion, her eyesight and her skill set is way better than mine, so she manages things as well. I have lots of comments streaming in, so thank you so much for Estee and Carol and Jack, who've indicated to me that we are live on those different channels. So that's
wonderful.
Really
so hello, Karen. Hello, Jack, and beautiful Estee.
Yes.
Lovely to see you.
That's wonderful. And the other thing is Jack is standing in the wings. He very kindly offered his services when I panicked and said, help, Brigitte's not going to be here. And I've set up this, we've set up this talk about the World Freedom Alliance. And he said, well, I will help as best as I can. So I am intending to invite him on because he so loyally turned up. So just in a moment, we'll do that. Are you okay, Jack? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay just to be sitting in the wing. Fantastic. Okay. So, wow, I know that's a huge thing, Brigitte, what you've just been going through. And, we have another loyal supporter. I can see you both on Facebook and YouTube Live.
Yeah, so we are okay. We are on Facebook.
Marion, how come you can see us on Facebook? I wasn't sure because I've been put in Facebook prison.
7 days.
Oh my God. I was in Facebook prison for posting the figures, the European figures from the actual government website on adverse events from the injection.
Wonderful. Wonderful you say that. I'm going to cut here because I've got some important information. I shared that with some of my family members, and I was asked, where did you get that from? And I just replied to my family member, please do your own research because these are the genuine sites where those figures are coming from. And then I got tagged for being an activist and for being an anti-vax, for daring to do that. So I'm now a grandmother, a Mabi, activist, anti-vax, daring to speak for so many people, even around me, people I love, who are dying. You know, not only elders, even young ones who are not able to work. So, yes, I don't mind being an activist. My father was a resistant in the war, and he was supporting young people so they wouldn't go back on the front. And I carry in my gene cells, in my DNA, the memory of the Holocaust. So what I wanted to share with all of you is, of course, it's changed today. I've just been on the website of the World Freedom Alliance with Dolores Cahill, who is the president, who was an Irish representative before on the European board, and now she's been kicked out. Heiko Schöning, who is the vice president, and Mats Polsvig, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it well, is the treasurer. And collectively, they have done, it is called a declaration and notice of liability. And this has to be sent to the minister. So the minister, I sent it first to the Minister of Solidarities and Health in France, and I sent it as well to the Minister of Education, because I believed he too was involved in what's going on, and to many other ministers. But I just noticed today that they have amended their how to go about this, and they're asking now for letters with witnesses, even private letters. So what's very important in this declaration and notice of liability is they're asking the ministers. So I even sent one to the first minister, le Premier Ministre of France. So it's a form, it's a document. All you need to do is put their name at the head and their address, and change which country in the third page. But what I did, I was being very studious. I translated it. So nobody could say in the Minister of the Agriculture and Food that they didn't understand English. So I have translated it. I spent all day yesterday doing that.
That's a mammoth task, Brigitte.
It's okay, but I did.
Talking about the World Freedom Alliance website.
Yeah, I am. And I really felt, so there was no, what I called blind corner left. So they couldn't say, well, we haven't understood. I did put it and posted it, so it needed 2 stamps, but I've done that. But what's beautiful in that letter, what they're asking in that declaration, we demand you to provide evidence of the following: that the SARS-CoV-2 has been successfully isolated. Now, if we go back to Dr. Robert O. Young, who has written about this, never has a virus been isolated, ever.
No,
but this is something, but this is something they're really asking. So that's the first point. The second point is SARS-CoV-2 injections and vaccines has been thoroughly tested to ensure safety to all recipients.
Yeah, can I just ask for a pause for a moment, because we're saying those really naughty words, and I don't want to be blocked on YouTube as well.
Okay.
So although you're reading this out, and that's the context there, but we can't say those words.
Oh, we can't. Okay, so
we're just going to be. But let's just backtrack a moment.
Okay, thank you. I didn't realize that. So yes, of course.
Just backtrack and put it into context for people, because that's really, you've been working so hard with all this translation, and that's really,
it's okay. It's okay.
And I just want to share that. First of all, I can't seem to put this on public on Facebook, so Marion's just flagged it up to me. Every time I click on go public, it switches back to private. They're just a friend. So please just share this video, everyone, if you can. Watch parties, start watch parties if you can. I know that's a great thing. The second thing is that Brigitte told me yesterday she's been working so hard doing all these translations.
Well, I didn't say I'd been working hard. I said I'd really been focusing, Juliette, and really had offered. I'm one of the members now of the World Freedom Alliance.
Yeah,
and
so I've just
some time.
Yeah, I've just posted. This is the link, everybody. I've just posted this World Freedom Alliance website, and before Brigitte just says any more about it, just to say, if you go on there, you can find the campaigns that they're running, and this is a global campaign to address your ministers and make them accountable. So you're a member, aren't you, Brigitte?
Yeah, I'm a member, but being a member means you can commit some of your time. So being both languages, English and French, I do speak Spanish, but not enough to translate such a legal document. So I didn't propose Spanish because I would have asked so much more of my time. However, what's important for everyone to understand, this is a real movement, which is a world movement. And it's an alliance, a global alliance of every country. And it's supported by the World Doctors Alliance. There is an alliance of doctors worldwide who right now are choosing to move out of a system whereby they could not do a proper prescription like, for example, ivermectin or something else to make their patients better. They were prevented from doing that. So many doctors worldwide have moved out of, in France, it's called the l'ordre des médecins, medical order, and every doctor has to pay, I think it's between £400 and £600 a year to belong to that order, who belongs in Paris. And then there is another support they're getting, the World Health Organization, the World Freedom Alliance, sorry, that's another one, the World Health Organization.
Yeah. So
and it's supported by New Earth, I just finished, and Solutions Empowerments, and a few others bodies. So it's not supported by big corporations.
Yeah. So this is really amazing, isn't it, Brigitte, at this moment in time, because we've had a whole year now of trying to push through a massive amount of censorship and lies. And finally, there are all these whistleblowers coming out, which I've spoken a bit on the last couple of videos that I've done with Marianne. And in the background, there's been this big legal pushback, and the World Freedom Alliance with all these people, and Rainer Fulmich and Dolores Cahill and so on, have been part of this legal pushback. And there's like globally a legal pushback. And there are so many freedom movements at this moment in time. And I would recommend people go into this website. I've posted the link, and it's also in the text of this video. You go there and listen to the video. There's some beautiful videos where they're talking about the police for freedom, lots of different police organizations, cops against COVID. I mean, it's stunning, actually, the amount of pushback that is not being published in our mainstream media. If you're only listening to the mainstream media, you'd think that there was nothing going on. But they did, for instance, show that there were over 1 million people on the streets last Saturday.
It's the same in Paris today. There is a huge manifestation, and in every big city of France, there's a big pushback. It's only on people's mobiles, but if people's mobiles then share with other friends, we globally know that something is happening, and it's a huge wake-up call. However, at the base, this really matters. There are different documents. One of them is already on the Parliament table, what is called the table of the Parliament, la table du Parlement, and that is for the green card certificate vaccination. I know I'm not supposed to be saying that word. So the green card certificate, okay? And it's got 2 weeks to be passed. And what you have to do is you have to copy the text, translate it if you want, and then send it to your own deputy, which belongs for me. So I've sent mine to the deputy of my department, which is Haute-Garonne, okay? And I've got 6 deputies, so I send 6 documents. And I'm asking them to vote against. So by doing that, you're really speaking your truth and asking them to stand in support of you, because you have elected them. So that's the first level. And we don't have much time, because it's 2 weeks. They voted in 2 weeks. Okay?
So it's about making people accountable, people in positions of power accountable for the crimes they're committing.
Exactly. So many people I've met say, well, it's too late. I said, no, we have 2 weeks. And for the letter of, which is called the time-sensitive document, and declaration and notice of liability to different ministers. So I've chosen even the education minister, and even the agriculture and the food minister, and the ones which are beyond seas, because I feel they really need help. So this is really at the base. We're going to make these ministers accountable. They're being paid tremendous amount every month, and they really need to start being made to work, to really give the value for the work. In France, they're paid between 8,000 and 10,000 a month. And if they only work for 6 months, then they're paid for life. So my feeling is by writing and speaking your truth, but do check the latest regulations because they are asking for testimonies to autograph by
Sign, yeah.
yes, signed. And I didn't see that. They hadn't got that last week. And this declaration notice of liability has to be passed by the 14th of May. So we have 2 weeks. And today in France, c'est la fête du bonheur. It's the day when we celebrate with a little bit of lily of the valley.
Oh, that's such a beautiful ceremony.
And we hug each other.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. I love lilies of the valley.
And it's like an omen of I wish you happiness.
Oh, beautiful.
And as a child, we used to go in the forest the week before, and we only picked up a few because we were very conscious in those days. But then it became marketing, and then people would go and take all of it. So the forest then started being depleted.
Oh no. So we have to be mindful of that.
It is balancing. So there we are. I just wanted to share that. So please, let's not go with fear. Beautiful Jack, he speaks about love, not fear.
And we will invite Jack to talk about that in just a second. So I just want to...
And that's why I was bringing it in, because I really feel where we are moving now, the energy field has changed. So the fear of authority is no longer being supported within the morphogenetic field collectively, which means you can start speaking, standing for your truth. Okay. And I've started as well printing and translating how certain things were being asked to wear and the side effects they do. So I post them, I plastify them, and I post them in different places.
Oh, well done. We've got something over here called the White Rose, where there's stickers and things.
Yes. Well, I don't have the white rose, but maybe I have got the red rose for my garden. And I've got so many roses and yellow and golden roses. So the golden roses is the rose of the heart, which is the hummingbird in the Inca medicine. It's the journey to the heart. So I will invoke the golden rose because today I offered some to the family I've just visited from my garden, my first roses.
Oh, you grow beautiful roses, Brigitte. So I just want to say, I want to ask you in a second, Brigitte, about the issues of empower and to feel that you can do something. And I just want to flag up, I put the link, the URL for the UK Medical Freedom website as well.
That's important too. And there is the World Health Organization with John Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
So
they've all got lots of template letters that you can print off and send.
Yeah, it's a huge amount. The only thing is now what I'm doing is spreading this information to Denmark, to Sweden, and asking people in those countries who I have connection with, and America, Mexico, to start doing the same thing. So the more, this is what the people at the base waking up can start doing. I'm a weaver. My medicine is weaving. I weave as a shaman, but I weave within the multi-dimensions as well. I came for this timeline, and I was born into end of war. But what has enabled me to be empowered, I would feel, is not only working on my deep trauma process from being a war child, and the year I was being carried in my mother's womb was the year of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and then I lost my twin. And in that same time, I lost the connection with the one who was carrying me, my mother. And I've done years of trauma work and beautiful work as well with my lovely support and mentor. I mean, Thomas Huball, many others, but my lovely Juliet Yelverton, who teaches trauma healing and who I really highly recommend because she really knows what she's talking about. And she really knows how to hold the space safely so you don't get rewounded. And I want to give homage to my best friend, Margie Ross, who holds the trust of the conscious feminine and who I worked with for over 20 years. And I want to give homage to myself for the wise elder that I hold. and that I honor and speak on behalf of. So yes, I may be an activist, I may be a resistance, whatever you want to name it. I surrender because I'm much greater than that. I'm a being of light.
You are indeed a wonderful being of light, Brigitte, and you've been a huge light in my life and in many people. You're probably the kindest person that I know, and you work all the time unceasingly just to support life.
Thank you.
In all sorts of ways. And that's
thank you. And thank you, because we have supported each other with Juliet for over 20 years, I feel. For her to reclaim a home, and when she had the children young, we were working together, and we've gone through ups and downs, and we've always sustained our love for each other. And it wasn't from one side, it came from the other side. And we've always held faith that there was something much greater than what was unfolding outside, was trying to break us apart. And another weaving, and my field, which goes with Margie, is all life is interconnected. And we're right now bringing back, we are building the consciousness for the feminine, for the soul to be in life. And this is why it is so painful, because we're moving away from patriarchal structures, and we're moving, enabling the soul, the collective soul of the earth and individual souls to speak truth. And this is new. And that's the work of my lovely Margie Ross.
That's beautiful. So we have
feminine. So that's it.
You've done a huge amount of work, huge. So there are some people making comments here, and we have the Naked Truth, and she says, my mum used to call me Lily of the Valley.
Wow, Esther,
what is that?
You are such a, she's my granddaughter. Esther is my adoptive spiritual
this is somebody called the Naked Truth.
Yeah, she's on the Naked Truth.
Oh, okay. So there might be, and then we have another comment, another one, which is, you have a huge light. You are a huge light in my life. And oh, bless you.
That's my lovely Esther. So if we could go live, because Esther does beautiful work. She channels, she transmits directly, and she can read the cards, she can read the tarot cards and other beautiful cards. And if you've got a question, please go to the Naked Truth. And Esther does it with such integrity. I highly recommend Esther, and she will offer you a session. Of course, she needs money and support like all of us, but she's very reasonable, and she really does it with absolute integrity.
So Esther, please put your link here, and then we can put it up for people. And everybody else is listening. Let us know how you are at this moment in time, because it's felt so dark and difficult and fearful. And it's like every time you open your mouth and there's somebody ready to jump on you, and it feels like, how do we ever push through this? But each one of us can make a small difference in what's going on, and speak a seed of truth or something like that. So if you want to, just ask a question or share with us what's happening to you, that would be really wonderful.
Yeah, I really invite that.
Yeah.
And you did say you were inviting Jack, so maybe that would be a good time.
Yeah, so Jack, are you ready to come on? I'm not sure whether... Yay, okay. So Jack, so I'm going to invite Jack on, and he'll be on with us, Brigitte. So I know we're learning this technology. Bear with us, because we're elders, we weren't born with this stuff. It's like there weren't even telephones barely when we were little. So
I was born with an ink pen and a changeable nib.
Oh, yes.
And now you can't find those. And if we made a blotch, we were punished.
Yeah, it's a big thing. In French schools, handwriting. So Jack.
There we go. Hello, beautiful Jack.
You've got tremendous light on your face.
Have a sun on your face.
Oh, it's the sun. It's the sun.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, we had rain.
I can't see the screen. All I can see is the sun in my eyes.
Never mind. Never mind.
But,
thank you so much. thank you so much, Jack, for being there in the wings, ready to support maidens in distress. You know, it's like you're a real, very chivalrous gentleman.
Well, I feel that's finished, isn't it? The distress in the damsels in distress. The castles have been taken down. So
always here for beautiful ladies.
You're a terrible flirt, Jack. I have to say.
I am.
I have to tell you this.
Yeah, I did pick that up. I did pick that up, Jack. So tell me, I was speaking a little bit about love, not fear, because when you are moving from fear to love, then the authoritarian figure is no longer a huge monster. It's no longer big. You don't hand your power over to them. And you have written a book about love, not fear. And that book has been born through you and through your own story.
Well, before I talk about the book, I'd just like to comment on what you said, Brigitte, at the beginning.
Okay.
About your parents being in the resistance. And now you're being called rude names for standing up against tyranny.
It's okay.
And my father walked with a limp all the time I knew him, because he was shot in France, doing the same thing. So how can I, with my history, stand by in fear of being called rude names after what my dad went through? And how can any of us stand by and watch the tyranny unfold, knowing what our parents and grandparents went through? How can we?
That's a huge question, and I would feel the power of the heart. The power of the heart, because if we went through those lineage of trauma upon trauma, I lost two of my uncles who I never knew, were my grandfather's younger brother and older brother, 18 and 20. They were mowed on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And my father was helping, and he got shot here on the side of the face. But the thing I have taken is the resilience that through the stories and through them standing for the truth, their truth, it has empowered me, and I've gained tremendous resilience. So instead of when someone says that, I said, I'm surrendering. It's okay. If you call me those names, that I'm an activist or I'm an anti-this or anti-that, that is fine. Because my father was a resistance, and so was my grandfather on the battlefield. But at the end of the day, I know with my heart, I'm in absolute authenticity and integrity to myself. So this is your story.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say.
Does that help?
You were talking about the European green card.
Yeah, because we have the right. Yeah. We have 2 weeks only to do something.
A lot of people here in Britain are thinking, well, it's nothing to do with us. We're not in the EU anymore.
No, it has.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'd just like to point out to anybody watching from the UK, we have been granted an extension to complain to number 10, to the Prime Minister, about the same thing here, about the vax passports.
Yeah.
So please do it this weekend. It must be done this weekend.
Yeah, that's really important, Jack. Have you got a link or something you can put up?
I will put a link below. On some YouTube things, I can't put a link below after the YouTube has ended.
You can if you just edit. Okay, I can help you.
If I'm allowed to, then I will.
Maybe send it via Messenger. Then we can all messenger our friends, who then message their friends, and that already reaches over 200 or 300 people.
Yeah.
So it's like what I was saying, sending out strands with that information, because we have 2 weeks
Yeah.
And regarding that declaration and notice of liability to the ministers, that's something else. That's making the ministers accountable. But we can write our personal letters as well. But we need 2 witnesses' signatures to make it valid. So many people may not agree to that, and many people may not agree to put their witness signature on those documents. And that's something they've just changed on their website. They changed it today. So I've just sent them an email asking them what is the best thing to do, and I needed clarity around that.
Yeah. So what we're describing here is a global thing, isn't it? In each country, there is the same agenda rolling out. So all over the world, they're trying to impose a restriction on our movement and a restriction on what we can do unless we produce some kind of certificate that we've been injected with this lethal injection.
You're not meant to tell that. You can't say that. Don't say those words, Juliet.
No, I can say it as long as I don't say it begins with that kind of letter. Okay?
Oh, right. Thank you.
Or that, I would just say that to those people that are trying to make us do this stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, so this is a global thing, a global tyranny, and that all the news media is like whichever news you're listening to is all reading from a script. And that meanwhile there's this massive censorship that we can't speak out and tell a difference. But they can't shut us down, they can't control us, because with Brigitte's weaving and our weaving, that every one of us here can actually say something and do something. So alongside this global oppression, there are all these freedom movements springing up, and legal movements. And then in each country, there is the means for us to campaign. So even if you can only do one small thing, then get a board if you can to do that. And
or even put information on those, which we have to wear. Put it as regard what it can do. And what is inside it.
We've all been doing that, haven't we? We've been doing that for months.
We've been doing
that for a year.
Yeah, but we need to put it in places where people who are maybe in brackets not yet consciously awakened might be able to read it. What I started doing was just going to shops where men work, men's shop, like big shops for farmers, etc. Typically men's shops. And I start talking. If there is an opening, I start talking.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have to hold that place where we are surrendering to the law of the universe and trust that everything is unfolding just as it is planned. There is a higher divine plan, and we are part of this divine plan. And we have no need to rescue anyone, only to trust in the law of synchronicity. And wherever we are guided, that is where we need to sow a little seed.
Yeah.
That's the law of the synchronicity of the universe. And the universe is doing that as long as we are absolutely aligned and don't project any shadow or don't feel that what's been projected upon you has created a reaction. Okay, like I could have gone into big reaction, and I did just share, well, it's Grandmama Dragon that's alive right now. Grandmama Dragon is on the battlefield.
So at the moment, you may, in any one moment, we may feel like we're strong and we can be activists. And then in another moment, we can feel despair that circumstances are so difficult or that we're being rejected by our loved ones, our friends, our families. So how has that been, this progress over a year? And just inviting anybody here to share what your experience has been like for the year. But also, Jack, how's it been for you as you've gone through the year? Have you moved emotionally from how you were at the beginning of the year to how you are now, for instance?
Well, Julia, I mentioned this before, that this thing hasn't really affected me personally that much. I tend not to socialize a lot anyway. So this thing really hasn't bothered me that much, and I totally ignore all the regulations and just do my own thing. So it hasn't affected me personally, but it affects me in as much as I'm a member of society. I'm a human being on planet Earth, and I'm very worried about, or maybe very worried is the wrong way of putting it, but very aware of the future that the next generation and the next generation may be living in. A totally Orwellian future.
Yeah, so how does that touch you emotionally, Jack?
Emotionally, it makes me want to work against it. But this is what's bringing me on to the next point I wanted to make. When I wrote, you mentioned the book, my book, Love Not Fear. I wrote that 3 years ago, nearly 4 years ago now, before all this present stuff started. So the book doesn't talk specifically about what's happening now. I thought we had 20 or 30 or 40 years to sort all this out when I wrote the book. And the book talks about how we can learn to live in love rather than in fear. And that means on a peer-to-peer basis, not just government, how we can live so as not to cause fear in each other. And that's become so much more important this last year.
Yes, so what's happened this year?
The thing I want to stress, because it's so important now, is anyone who's interested in any way in what people are now calling the law of attraction, this idea that we create our own reality. Yeah, it's okay to resist tyranny, but not to focus on it all the time. We create what we focus on all the time. So if we do, that's all we ever think about, we've got to make it worse.
Absolutely, it's about perception, isn't it?
It's about holding optimism for the future.
Yeah. So are you optimistic for the future?
Absolutely.
Yay!
I love it. I'm excited, Juliet. I'm really excited.
Fantastic.
Because every time I see something falling apart, I see another level of the lie that in my book I call the game we did not devise, that we were all born into. I see another layer of that falling away, becoming uncovered, people understanding what's happening, and people taking charge.
Yeah.
Just look at the numbers we had in London last week.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 700,000 and 1 million. I don't know. Loads of people.
Yeah.
People are waking up. Every time I see something, so I'm trying to balance this laptop here. Every time I see I'm trying to do an inverted commas thing. I can't get it on the screen. Every time I see a tragedy, I see a revelation and people waking up.
Lovely. That's very interesting. Yeah.
So you're bringing the balance. You're bringing the balance that's so needed.
We must, if we can come together and help each other, don't focus on what the government says. Don't focus on what the government says you can't do. Come together. The government only has power over you if you give them that power.
Yeah.
Withdraw your power. Withdraw your consent.
At first, you have to feel empowered, Jack, to do that.
Come together. We come together. This is what I keep saying. Help each other to thrive. This is the main theme of. You'll notice that if one of my friends puts something up on Facebook or somewhere about their own personal business or anything, I will share it. It's all part of helping each other to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we all did more of that.
Well, let's just say we are doing that. That's what these times.
We are doing that.
I wasn't having a go at you, Juliet. I'm just talking generally.
Yeah, but we are. I mean, those who are at that level, that next, what I call the next rung of the ladder, are already doing that.
Yeah.
And those who are not on that rung of the ladder are still not able to see that that is the way we collectively can create the new future, which you were talking about. So for me, I am not going with worrying about the future, because that will create a shadow over the future of the next generations. Mm-hmm. What I'm weaving is absolute strength that we are all, each one of us, we are doing. We are putting that little seed in the earth. We're watering it, we're shining on it, we're bringing our soul and spirit, and we're radiating that. And that is quite a big task if each one of us does that.
Yeah.
Because when you walk in a shop and you're holding those qualities, then there is something that just shifts. The density of the fear of the mass, of whatever people, it's just everything quietens down, and there is a new quality in the energetic field. Yeah. And that's very much what's needed. So I'm not just talking about acting, like writing letters. I'm talking now of how can I, through being completely, moment by moment, resourcing myself and empowered with just who I am, not somebody else. I'm not an oak tree. I'm not a willow tree. I'm Mabi. I'm Brigitte. Just being that. And that is a huge task. It's a Herculean task.
So I'm just going to ask us to pause for a moment, because we're getting some comments here.
Wonderful.
I want to say thank you, Jack, for your contribution. I'm going to put you off screen if you don't mind.
Okay.
And is there anything, I'll just say thank you so much for sharing here. And I've put your book up here that you can get on Amazon, and you can even download for free. Is that right?
You can get a free download from my website, lovenotfear.uk.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay.
I'm not here for your money. I'm just trying to get these ideas out.
No, that's beautiful idea. So I've just posted that, and people can follow up. I'm going to put you off screen, Jack, and we've got some comments here I want to put up. So, and I want to ask Brigitte a question as well.
Can I just cut just 1 second for Jack? Maybe you could put on your website, patronize me. I mean, patron, like just ask for a little something. Yeah.
There is a buy me a coffee or something like that link on
okay there. That's what I mean. Okay, well, put that in your website.
We're running out of time, so I just want to cut through to the chase now. So thank you, Jack, very much for your support this afternoon. So
thank you so much.
Don't go away, but I'm going to put you off screen. So yeah, there you go. And we have a message here, Brigitte, from The Naked Truth. So I've been asking people to share how they've felt throughout the year, and the Naked Esther says went from anger and resistance and loss of friends to gaining new like-minded friends, and vibrating at the frequency of the reality I want to see, doing what makes me feel happy and what's good for Earth. So this is really important, isn't it, Brigitte?
Yeah, very important.
So
very, very important. And I'm sure we have not gone live fully on YouTube for some reason.
Yes, we have.
We are live. Okay.
Yeah, I have checked. So
yeah.
What's the I'm just inviting other people just to share their feelings here before we come to an end.
Please do that.
We've got 10 minutes, but Brigitte, what's been the kind of trajectory, the emotional trajectory for you over the year, from the difficulty and feeling now more in your power?
I think I've gone through almost every. I think I must have gone through every coloring of the emotions. because for me, living on my own in France, I could not reach out because I was still processing deep trauma, because what happened out there in the collective field triggered my own ancestral trauma of wartime, when you didn't know if you would have food, if you would be safe. I could hear the marching boots of the invader. I could feel I wouldn't have any choice. And that was the first thing, not being able to reach out and feeling, well, it did not really matter anyway to my loved ones, because they didn't even reach out to me, but I couldn't reach out to me. I couldn't reach out to them either. That was the first thing. And then I went into creativity and grief. I went into grief. And from there, I went into absolute creativity. I created the most magic garden last year. And I started doing what I needed to do, which was walk, take my car, go places. It's like I went beyond what was being asked. And I've always done that. And I'm still doing that. I'm a bit of a rebel. I'm a warrior of the light. And this year, because we've had so many being shut down, very low mileage, shut down, very low mileage, quarantine, I don't go with all that. And what I've done now is I'm really a warrior of the light and sending informations to medical bodies and all sorts of things. And not only am I resourcing myself, but creating a garden, but I'm weaving a new community. And I am standing very strong and being looked upon as one of the leaders here.
That's beautiful. So, like, I'm really encouraging, like, doing these videos and encouraging that each person can step up and have a voice. And if anybody wants to come forward and say, oh, well, I'd like to put out a video, now either I will invite you on this show or help you get your own show on the road. And the same with Brigitte Mabi, that she will support you whatever you need, because we're going through this big learning curve of stepping into our power. Even though we started out feeling really crushed, that we are the new shoots, we are the seeds that are growing here.
Yeah, and I want to share that a lot of the grief I've experienced is because I'm a psychic and a medium, and I'm highly sensitive, and I'm a shaman, a feminine shaman too. I walk the earth as a shaman, and I was picking up the collective grief for the loss of the elders. So I've done quite a few rituals. I've even done a despacho, which is an offering to Pachamama, to the earth. But this grief, when you are open and you're in your body and you're not dissociating, you can feel in the field the resonance of the grief, the sadness, and then you have to know how to just offer it to Pachamama.
Yeah,
because this is a collective grief. So I just wanted to share that, because it really matters to know that you can feel angry, you may feel sad, and you may feel raged, and you may feel like many people say, well, it's being done to us. Like recently I went to a chemist and I handed them information. I ended up talking to them. I said, you're not powerless. All you have to do is stand empowered, reclaim your power. And she looked at me and I said, that's the door. Do you want to go through that door? And it's the door to the new earth.
Yeah. And
it's called the Pi Stone.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's a Pi Stone. This is a Pi Stone of the Shaman. And this is transmitted by the Inca in the 9 rites of transmission, which is called the Munai Ki. Munai means love and Ki means power. How do I hold the power to love?
That's amazing, because do you know, Brigitte, that in Cornwall there is a Neolithic monument, if you like, called Menentol, that has a stone that's completely hollow, carved,
yes,
the 2 end stones.
Yeah.
and that is very much the same
Yeah,
thing.
and it's very and these were placed by the ancestors because they were rites of passage, and these rites of passage are being taught by Chris Waters, who is a shaman from the Inca tradition, the Keros Inca traditions. So right now, we really are going to need those Munaiki rites of protection. There are 9 rites. And the first rites are the rites of the bands of protection. And then it goes on and on and on, and they get amplified. I took those about 10, 15 years ago with Chris. And at the moment, I'm doing them again with Chris, because I feel we're going to need to be able to help people to protect themselves in the times to come.
That's beautiful. And you're running workshops as well.
Well, I'm hoping to run workshops either online when I've got my program sorted out on Zoom.
You will. I just want to flag that. So Brigitte, what you're seeing in front of you, this lovely lady, this lovely being in front of you, is the most remarkable woman imaginable. I mean, the stories that I could tell about her life, about your life, Brigitte, and what you've done is absolutely incredible. But recently, I suppose about 3 years ago now, that you built, with no kind of knowledge whatsoever of how to do this, but you built this fabulous website. And mediating feminine values, I think it's go and visit it. I will put the link underneath. It's full of Brigitte's paintings and writings, the most beautiful paintings and writings, and what she channeled.
Sadly, one of the plugging has been removed since last year. I don't know. So my gallery of paintings has disappeared. And because of the recent year and a half, 2 years, I haven't run any workshops at all. In fact, I was meant to run a drum making workshop and shamanic workshop in nature. These have not happened. And right now I'm preparing more programs. So this is why I'm doing the Munaiki, because I really feel these rites, which have been transmitted by the Keros of the Inca of the Peru, the high mountains, they are absolutely needed right now to help us remember that we are going through this.
Absolutely. So we are going through this, and Brigitte has been through extraordinarily difficult circumstances, but always comes out shining. And that if you care to visit her in France, she has the most beautiful.
Yes, I can say that. It's a beautiful place. I'm a guardian of this place. In a way, I know it's my home, but I'm a guardian.
And she's built it.
Well, we have renovated it with beautifully loved people. Simon, my children, friends of my children who were studying at university, who I lodged and fed for months on end in July, who were sitting on the scaffolding watching the thunderstorms, and I had to beg them to come down so they wouldn't get hit by the lightning. So, I mean, so many stories. Yes, everyone who has been here has offered something to this place. Yes. So I'm not saying it's my making, but I've held the vision and I've really worked hard. I'm a builder. I'm a builder as well. I'm a builder of dreams, but I'm a builder physically.
Yeah, so don't be surprised to see Brigitte sitting on top of the roof of her house, repairing the roof or repairing the plumbing. Yeah. And she's even helped me repair my electricity, put my electricity back together after a fire. She's the most remarkable woman. So you are in extraordinarily safe hands if you contact Brigitte for help on a whole number of things, but particularly for Zoom sessions, the healing sessions via Zoom, the remarkable work that she does.
Yeah. And I want to say here, for those of you who have no money, absolutely no income, I offer free sessions.
Yeah.
And I've done so for the last year and a half.
Absolutely.
And there is no strings attached to that. And I repeat that. No strings attached to that. It's free from my heart to whoever needs support.
Yeah, so how beautiful is that?
And tomorrow I've got a young woman who is in crisis, and tomorrow morning, Sunday, I will offer support, whatever.
So do share, everyone. We're coming up to the end of this broadcast, so do share so that everybody can get help that needs help. And just do contact us.
And it's a privilege to have been on this with you, Juliet, with Jack, with Estee from The Naked Truth, and all the people who have, commented and who will comment. No, we are really, this is new. This is new for me. This is new for Juliet. I mean, being on Restream. So if you need to place a comment, come from your heart. Don't come from your judgmental mind, because that separates and that divides. But if you just take a deep breath and just go in your heart and see that all we are doing, all we are being, is supporting, so the new earth and the future can be reborn with integrity, peace, and solidarity between all of us, because we each are weaving our own medicine. There is no need for external medicine. We have all the medicine we need. Nature is here. We are nature. So let's just like to say, I honor Pachamama. I really dedicate my life to Pachamama and all life. So when I pick up a slug or a snail, I thank them, I put a lettuce leaf, and I take them in a wild forest. So they leave my vegetables in peace, but I respect them. Ho.
Oh,
Big hug to you.
yeah.
Beautiful Juliet.
Yeah, and big hug to everybody out there.
Big hug, Jack. And big hug to beautiful Esty and everyone.
Yeah. Lots of love, everyone.
And I finish with this. Remember, this is the Pi Stone. We each need to go through that gate. It's the gate to the new earth. The heart. Go with the heart. The heart doesn't lie.
Yeah, bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Bye, dearest.